Hello, Cindy, Keely, Elizabeth, Brittany, Allison, Veronica, Kaylin, Jamie, Vanessa, Katie, Lauren, Cynthia, Amani, Sophia, and Nicole. Thank you for another excellent week of discussion in week 2 as we discussed perceived benefit versus cost. And I think we dove right into the heart of this topic as we discussed it because it is about what the consumer sees as a benefit that has an effect on whether they will purchase a particular product. That while it's true that the specifications of a product, the raw materials that go into a product, the inherent quality of a product, all of those things matter. But the thing that matters the most at the end of the day is the perceived value, is what the consumer understands as valuable to him or her. As Keely pointed out at the beginning of her initial post, she quoted Winsky, "Consumers don't purchase products primarily for their functions. In fact, function is simply a means to deliver what a customer really wants, benefit. A customer buys a product for the perceived benefit." So you can have two products, and one may, from an objective point of view, do the work better. But if consumers don't perceive that, if their interest is not in the technical specifications, it's not going to matter. They will buy, they won't buy that product. They'll buy another one, especially if it costs less and they see something more valuable to them in that product. The discussion started off with Brittany's post about television, about AT&T and Dish, and you could say, well, AT&T is giving you this $100 back to be part of their network. That's a great deal, and both of them have a lot of channels. But as Brittany pointed out, for her and for her family, AT&T wasn't offering the premium channels that they really want, wasn't offering the channels that they most enjoyed. So even though AT&T was willing to give them a discount and provide the service at a lower price, the perceived benefit was so much less that it made sense to go with the Dish network. And Sophia pointed out, well, it's the company that offers the sports channels. Her husband really likes sports. So the perceived benefit is the sports channels are worth so much more. I'll pay extra in order to get those channels, because just having cable for the sake of having cable doesn't matter if I can't watch my sports. Veronica pointed out that no matter how many channels you get on Dish, no matter how many premium options you have, if the dish doesn't work in the rain, if the dish doesn't even work when it's cloudy outside, there's no perceived value there. If you can't watch TV, it's worthless. And so you'll go with Frontier, even though it has less channels, less options. And if you're like Allison and me, you'll say, cable provider, the best cable provider is no cable provider, because we can just do without TV. We don't have a lot of perceived benefit in watching TV, so we'll just pass and use the money in other ways. All of those things are perceived benefit based on the individual consumer. All of us have different values that we put on things, and the trick or the need for companies is to be able to say, okay, we have these various demographics of consumers. How can we meet those different needs? How can we give them the value that they want so that they perceive value in our product and then are willing to pay the cost to obtain it? Another one of the things that a lot of you pointed out is that our perceived value isn't just about the aspects of the product, but is also about how it frees up time for us. That time, especially in our culture, is a very valuable commodity. So people are willing to pay a little bit more for things that they perceive freeing up time. Now, I know this was only one aspect of what you were talking about, Cynthia, in your purchase of the Peloton, that the Peloton added a lot of value to your life because it enables you to to bike, do something that you love inside in a safe environment after your injury, and that's really the huge benefit to it. But you pointed out that it also does save time, that you and other people in your family don't have to drive to the gym in order to exercise, but you could use the Peloton at home. And that time savings is an element of what adds value to it for you. You perceive that as a valuable thing that adds to, that makes it more a better choice for you to buy that. And you also pointed out that, well, if you have that, then you don't have to pay for gym memberships, that you pay the Peloton membership fee, and that ends up being like $750 a person over the 4 people. That's valuable. You can't get a gym membership for that. And you also mentioned the other courses. So there are like the yoga. So there are a whole bunch of things that add to the perceived value that make it worth that considerable cost. But the time, I'm glad that you pointed out the time, and other people point out time as a thing that really makes a difference when we're assessing perceived value. Another thing that I really appreciated was the discussion about reviews. Amini brought up that when she was looking to purchase a toolkit, she was looking at reviews, and she said, well, I'm going to go with the one that's 5 stars rather than 3 stars. It's a better, if there's more value there, and it's even a better price, so I'm going to go with that. And that is a resource that we have that for many years people didn't have. We have such easy access to other consumers' perceptions of value in the products that they've already purchased, and that is that is a real gift for us. And if you if you look at, I did a little bit of I posted a little bit of research about that, and it's interesting that pure 5 stars tends not to work as well as mostly 5 stars and some 4s and some 3s, because if it's all 5 stars, people tend to think, nothing is perfect. Is this really accurate? Is this really true? So some negative reviews are not a terrible thing, and some of the best things that some of the best reviews are from the perspective of producers, from sellers, is if someone produces a narrative review, something with a lot of detail, that tends to have an effect on people's perception, even more so than the average, especially for old people like me. Those narrative reviews tend to have more of an effect than the average number of stars. So thank you again for all of your excellent participation. I'm looking forward to your insights in week 3. And if there is anything that I can do to be helpful, any questions, anything that I can do to make the class have more value for you, let me know. Thanks a lot.